Most Americans think that bicycle racing is new to the United States. In fact, bicycle racing was once one of the most popular sporting events in America. In these early days of the sport, American cyclists were among the best and highest paid athletes in the world, and the bike races themselves were a regular event, filling special cycling stadiums with the thunder of wheels on the wooden tracks. The environment was more like a prize fight than anything else. But, like other American passions, it ended. In the late 60s, there were signs of a revival. Without sponsorship, without recognition, and always against the odds, U.S. riders were distinguishing themselves. Jim Okowitz, himself a member of 2 Olympic squads, dared to think big. Always an outstanding team rider, Okowitz was dreaming of another sort of team, a team of world-class Americans strong enough to win at the Olympic and pro levels. By 1984, the 7-Eleven team had made an unprecedented mark on American cycling. They just wouldn't stop winning, and the legacy continues today. This program is full of useful information. Study carefully the sections which most directly apply to your cycling needs. Basic bike handling skills are crucial at every level of cycling. Good bike handling is the result of having confidence and control. Case in point, national pro champion Eric Heiden. Listen to his thoughts on bike handling skills.
Strong bike handling skills enable an individual to ride in a pack where bikes are just inches apart. Contrary to popular opinion, cycling is very often a contact sport. This contact often makes experienced riders nervous, but riding close is not dangerous when you know what you're doing. The rider in the blue jersey is the problem here. He's aggressive without being in control and has developed some very bad habits. He rides stiff and his moves are abrupt. He also overreacts and goes to the brakes too fast.
He is known as a squirrel, and this is what you do not want to be. A squirrel usually only thinks about being strong and doesn't develop his skills. You can't ride close to him, and riding close is what efficient riding and racing is all about. Dangerous riders like this will get forced to the rear by better riders. It's self-protection. Riders like this cause crashes, and it's never wise to ride behind a squirrely rider.
In Europe, the pros ride even closer together. When we first went there to race, we found that we were strong enough to be competitive and win, but we weren't used to riding so close. Only a couple of the 7-Eleven riders were experienced enough to be allowed up front, but we quickly learned, and so can anybody.
Develop an awareness of what's happening around you. Anticipate what may come next. Safety depends on these skills. Make it a habit to look far up the road and make any changes in direction early. Being able to ride a straight, controlled line at any speed is the first step for all riders. The key is body control. Steer mostly with your body, not the bars. Use slight hip and body adjustments to maintain a straight line. Being able to ride a controlled line while looking over your shoulder is an important safety consideration. Having a shoulder to lean on is one safe way to help keep you under control.
Here's something I do with my junior team riders to improve balance and bike handling skill. Get used to this and you won't be scared to ride in a tight group. Bumping can be a game instead of a threat. The main idea is not to bump your handlebars or you lose your ability to steer. If you lean into the bump with your shoulder, you can always bounce away.
Learn how to react when the bike gets unstable. Everyone needs this kind of control.
Confidence and control really go hand in hand. When you have control, the confidence will follow.
Good braking is an essential skill. There comes a time when you need 100% stopping power, and you have to know how to use it. Canadian Alex Steeda, an Olympian and Tour de France stage winner, discusses good braking.
You can operate the brakes from the tops of the brake hoods, which is adequate for most situations. Or go to the drops, which gives you maximum braking power, stabilizes you on the bike, and also lowers your center of gravity. Notice the way Eric goes on and off the brakes entering the turns. You brake before the turn, hitting both brakes at once. On long descents, feather the brakes. Use them in short bursts and release them so the brake pads don't heat up.
In a panic situation, first, go to the drops. Second, apply both brakes while moving your weight back over the rear wheel. This equalizes braking force and maintains traction. Third, keep the front wheel straight and don't lock up the brakes. Technique can save your life in a situation like this. Remember to go to your drops immediately in emergency situations. Many riders never learn to take a corner well, but it's not a hard skill to obtain. Anyone can find himself going into a corner too fast, but if you have the skills, you can avoid the spills. Cornering involves a sequence of decisions that you can make routine. Always brake before the corner, then follow your path or line at a reasonable speed. If it's a sharp turn, stop pedaling. A shallow turn can often be pedaled through. Riders talk about taking a good or bad line through a corner. A good one gets you through safe and fast. Enter from the outside and exit wide. Guide the bike with your body. Even in most turns, the handlebars don't move much. The more you lean, the more you'll turn. Adjust your line for banking and road hazards as needed. Especially beneficial for triathletes, cutting corners tight cuts the distance and time you travel. Don't try this against oncoming traffic, but on a closed course you can save meters on every turn. Saving 2 or 3 seconds on each of 20 or 30 turns can easily be the margin of victory.
You don't want to blast through every corner, but there's no reason not to learn how.
This is an exercise one of my earlier coaches had me do to teach fast and safe cornering in a controlled situation. Find a parking lot or some deserted streets which will enable you to make a series of 4 right-handed turns. Clear visibility is a must. As you cut the corner faster and tighter, you'll begin to feel the physics of the situation. If you ride smoothly, you'll find that the threshold of losing it isn't nearly as close as you thought. You'll sense the little adjustments you need to make. When you feel you're losing it, you got to dig in. Press harder with your outside leg and really commit yourself to the maneuver. Don't panic. Bailing out halfway through the turn is usually the worst mistake.
When you're blasting through a corner and you think you're going to lose it, the biggest thing is you got to hang on and believe in yourself, because as soon as you give up, you're going to fall down. Try Ron's exercise twice a month to improve your cornering technique. Find some deserted streets with clear visibility, such as a new housing development or an industrial park on a weekend, where you can make a series of unobstructed turns.
When riding in a field of riders, your line and even your cornering form will be dictated by riders around you. Only the riders at the front get to ride the good line. That's why small breakaways can often outrun a pack. They can take the ideal line and pick up those valuable seconds. Drafting. Riding in the draft or slipstream of another rider is an essential skill for any bike rider. At moderate speeds, wind resistance is about 75% of your energy drain. At race speeds, it's about 90%. Because drafting can cut wind resistance by as much as a third, it is one of the most crucial tactical devices in cycling. These riders are drafting in a sophisticated way. They share the effort by taking turns or pulls at the front. By cooperating closely, they become more efficient. This formation is a pace line. single rider works anywhere from 20 to 35% harder. Reduced wind resistance lets weaker riders stay with stronger ones, enabling families and spouses to exercise together. Among more equal riders, working together makes a ride more interesting by adding a mental challenge. You move faster and further without extra effort.
The first step in drafting is to sense the wind direction. Watch for its effect on leaves, grass, and things blowing across the road. Wind from the front or back puts you in a straight pace line. Crosswinds put you in an echelon. Go into whatever formation makes sense. Listen to the wind. The sound will change when you've hit the sweet spot.
Some of the general rules for drafting are: 1. Don't apply the brakes suddenly. This could knock down the riders who are following. 2. When you lead the group, don't accelerate too quickly. If you split the group in two pieces, the work cannot be shared. 3. Don't lead too long. If you drop behind and get rest when you need it, you will be able to lead faster each time and keep going farther. 4. Communicate with those around you. And most importantly, number 5, stay alert. Don't lead your group through a chuck hole. And when you follow, look ahead so you can see potential accidents before they happen.
When you're drafting in an echelon, one of the most important aspects is to subdue your ego. When a group of riders works as a unit, their energy can be more than the sum of its parts. That's what you're looking for.
Everyone being in the same or